Hey, welcome back. Is Flower Mound the next hot real estate market? Not real sure, but if you're hunting for a real estate investment to live in a Dallas suburb, but every time you start looking, you get hit with sticker shock, right? So it feels like every town everyone's talking about is overpriced and overhyped, and I'm talking about Frisco, talking about Plano, talking about Prosper, I'm talking about Little Elm, quite possibly, where there's still a lot of growth going on. But what if the real opportunity isn't the one making all the headlines? All right, think about this. What if the smartest move for 2025, 2026, 2027 isn't the most obvious one? Well, I'm going to take kind of a deep dive into Flower Mound. And I live here, I work here, I invest here, and this is literally an often overlooked gem that's poised for some long-term growth. I have worked with a lot of relocation people in the past, and Flower Mound is never on anybody's radar. They're always talking about Frisco and Plano and parts north of that area, Prosper. But here's the problem with those homes. Everybody wants to move out there. There can constantly be a bidding war. Personally, I feel like it's overpriced. If it's just going to depend on the kind of atmosphere and everything that you want to be associated with. They've got 13 or 14 high schools now. I mean, that's a lot in Frisco. So anyway, here's the problem. Let's be real. You're looking for suburb, and when you look in Frisco and Plano, you kind of feel like you missed the boat because the prices are going crazy. The growth is absolutely explosive. I don't even know where the borders of Frisco are. I know where the borders of Plano are, but Frisco it's ginormous. And then you butt up against Prosper and Little Elm. They're building the tollway. Ultimately, it's my understanding, to Oklahoma. So you're already pretty far north of Dallas. And but here's the deal. It's kind of a classic seller's market in that area. But the competition, if you have a home that you've lived in for 3, 5, 7 years and you need to move again, your competition is all the new homes being built. And that's a tough deal, and I've been in that with clients before, and it doesn't end as well as they want it to. So, homes are generally gone in a flash, and the cost to get in, to me, is just like unbelievable. So, why do I want you to turn your attention to Flower Mound? I want you to give it an opportunity and look yourself. This is November 2025, so you see my Santa Claus up there. I'm already ready. But let's go over the first thing. The case that I'm going to make for Flower Mound, it's stability over hype. The first thing you should know is during the COVID era, which you probably watch every news report, prices shot up a lot. When I first was with this one brokerage, and it was back in 2018, 2019, I was working with an agent down out of Austin. And I was helping her mother sell her house or something. And so I would call her kind of frequently, and she's like, oh, man, these prices down here in Austin, they're going for over asking, 25, 30, 40% over asking. It's crazy down here. I'm like, that's never going to happen up here in Dallas. Sure enough, within 2 years, same thing was happening. I had a deal that we offered, and this was a $500,000 house. We offered over $100,000 over asking and still lost. Those were crazy times. And the problem is now that the market has slowed down. Interest rates did go up, and you have a lot of people that are kind of stuck in their homes because I found out one guy had a 1.75 interest rate, but most people have between 2.5% and 4% interest rates. And where are they going to move? unless they have to move for a job or something, because you're going to trade that interest rate for, I think the interest rate came in the other day and this is November 2025, right about 6%. So that's a big deal. But with Flower Mound, let's get back to talking about stability. With Flower Mound, the thing you should know is the market's really caught its breath here. And if you look at a typical year, and typical growth should be somewhere between 5 and 6%. That's normal activity for growth, okay? In Flower Mound, for example, for 2025, they're expecting a 2 to 4% growth rate. Well, what does that actually mean for you, okay? I got some statistics here this morning that I got this done. Currently, there are 193 active properties, homes, and I'm only talking about single-family homes. There's some townhomes and condos, but I excluded those. 193 homes. We've been hovering around 200, 215 for a while now. The average price is about $720,000, with the median price about $625,000, which is not horrible. It's over the national average, but you can't take the national average because that includes all 50 states, right? So for Dallas and this area of town, it's really good. Now I went back 6 months, because if you're getting a loan and you are getting a conventional loan or FHA or whatever, you're going to have an appraisal. And with that being said, you will the appraiser is only supposed to go back 6 months, and they're supposed to be in certain sections and areas, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through the parameters because I'm not an appraiser, but what I am is somebody that's giving you some facts. Days on market total for all these homes sold the last 6 months, average 37 days. That's good, because I can tell you that in Fort Worth and in Dallas and some of these other areas, it's well over 90 days. So 37 days is a good average. And they sold at 98.4% on average of the list price. Now, the list price can be a little bit, that percentage can be a little bit wonky, because that doesn't take an effect like if you started off, you're selling your house, for example, for $1 million, and then you sold it for $800,000, and you sold it for $800,000, so you got 100% of your list price, right? So that's not super transparent, but 98.4%, that's a really good number. So, like I said, we're seeing some stability in this market. There is some new construction. Toll Brothers has a few projects going on. Those are all over $1 million. David Weekley has some projects. I don't know that they've necessarily priced those out. They're probably going to be more like 2 or 3 story townhomes, basically. They'll call them single family homes, and they'll probably be detached, but I haven't seen the final plans on that deal. And that's not too far from here. So when we're talking about stability over hype, that's kind of what I'm talking about, because things are kind of slowing down a little bit, or have been slowing down, or have slowed down. Now there's stuff that's still moving, pretty well if it's priced well, because there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines with money. But the second thing that I kind of want to talk about would be what it's not. Okay, it's a lifestyle difference in Flower Mound. I mean, it's unlike the newer high-energy suburbs with the master plan communities. I'm talking about Frisco and some of these other ones, stacked right on top of each other. Flower Mound has a more established, relaxed feel. They had a master plan when they created this whole deal back in the 80s. Think of it this way. Again, I'm sure that you're probably looking at what's going on in Frisco. And Frisco's kind of an exciting area. I mean, it's big. But it's all about the brand new buzz and the walk community centers and the pro sports hubs. And I mean, it's fantastic if you kind of crave that energy. But Flower Mound, on the other hand, it's defined by mature trees. The lots are larger. It's quieter. It's a nature forward vibe. There's a lot of biking areas, hiking areas. You've got the southern tip of Flower Mound that goes along Lake Grapevine. I mean, it's a place. Flower Mound is a place that prioritizes, green space, parks, trails. Like I said, easy access to Lake Grapevine over going to stadiums and mega malls. I mean, that's the bottom line. Is it a bedroom community? No, I wouldn't call it that. I mean, that's like a sleepy community with nothing there. On top of that, and you need to check this on your own, crime rates are really pretty low, but I would go, don't take my word for it because I don't want to be liable for anything. Go to the flowermound.org police department and look that up. I mean, if you're looking for a community that feels like it's built over time, right? Not overnight, with a focus on outdoor living and a peaceful, it's a family-friendly atmosphere. I'm 62. It's a great atmosphere for me. I mean, it doesn't have to be families. Flower Mound's where you're going to find it. So that's my speech on the lifestyle difference. Now, let's talk about the strategic location. This is underrated. I'm telling you, when I have worked, I can't tell you how many relocation people I've worked with, and I've always recommended Flower Mound, even before I moved out here. And it was just like, it wasn't popular, or it's not popular. Well, I live in Flower Mound. It's like, come on, get over it. One of the Flower Mound's best kept secrets is its location. This morning, I went to the airport at 5:30 or 5, and it was raining on top of that. Went to the airport. I was there with almost absolutely no traffic until I got real close to the airport in 20 minutes. And I came back. I had a drop off. I dropped off my wife and came back, going back north, no traffic at all. I was back home, within an hour easily. It's more pain getting in and out of DFW than anything else. But that to me is a huge game changer, especially if you travel often. If you're looking to commute, if you fly Southwest, you're going to have to go right now. You're going to have to go out of Love Field. So you're going to have to, that's a 45-minute drive. But if you're flying any of the major carriers, American this is their hub, right? So, or United or any of those other ones, DFW is the place to go. Another thing about the underrated location is it is right between Dallas and Fort Worth and right between major lakes. You have Lake Grapevine to the south. You have Lake Louisville to the east. So, if you're into the lake thing, and we have Lake Ray Roberts. It's not too far from here on the north near Denton, and then you can go all the way up to Texoma if you want. But like at Lake Grapevine, the thing I like about that is, they've got great boating. It's not a crowded lake. Lake Louisville is more crowded. Hiking and fishing, and some people might complain about the lack of a major highway cutting through the center of town, this is actually by design, believe it or not. It's part of the town's smart growth plan to prevent overdevelopment, and it keeps its peaceful character. That's what I love about this place. And a lot of people don't think about that. You get the quiet you want at home while you have major job centers like in Las Colinas, which is Irving, Dallas, Fort Worth. There's still an easy commute away. So think of it that way. Look at a map. It's on the north side, and just give that some thought. We're right between I-35 East and I-35 West, which they come together into one I-35 in Denton. So what does your money actually buy? Well, it's definitely an upscale suburb. But your dollar stretches further. If you have a $600,000 or $700,000 home in Flower Mound that's on a quarter acre or more, which would be good, 2-story, maybe 4 to 5 bedrooms, you can't get that in Dallas for under $1 million. Impossible, unless it's just in crummy shape. So Like I said, the median home price, according to my statistics, is 625,000. So that's the median, right? There's homes that sell in the 400s. There's homes that sell 2, 3. I just saw one this morning for 7.5 million. If you're interested, call me. I'll be happy to show it to you. But more importantly, I mean, the housing costs they're noticeably less expensive than they are in a city like Frisco. And because this town is more established, you're going to find a much wider variety of homes. There were so many good, solid builders out here. We do have, because it's this part of Texas, you may come across foundation problems, but I mean, find me a house or an area that doesn't have foundation issues. But you're going to find a wide variety of homes, mostly brick homes. Some will have, a combination of brick and siding, but you're going to have a big variety. It's going to depend on the neighborhood and the location that you want to be in. You can be as far east on Flower Mound, where it kind of butts up to Louisville. If you want to be in that area, it'll give you quick access to I-35 east, or you can be on the other side, on the west side of Flower Mound, like in Canyon Falls or some of those other developments over there. And that gives you easy access to I-35 West. And they're building an HEB, if you don't know what that is. It's a big deal in Texas. They're out of San Antonio or Austin, I don't remember. Anyway, so there's beautiful new construction going on. There's a lot of homes for under 500,000. So just because I'm giving you this median price, don't let it scare you. But there's also these sprawling, beautiful, multi-million dollar homes. I mean, Flower Mound is super diverse, and you're all part of this wonderful, great community. So is Flower Mound the next hot market? Well, you know what? I don't know that it is. But it's something, to me, it's something better because they have a smart plan. There's continued economic growth here. And I mean, the lifestyle here is incredible. I've never experienced anything like this before. And I've lived in some other suburbs that I don't even want to talk about because I was so miserable. I wanted to get out of there. But for a buyer, if you're a buyer and you're tired of all the hype and you want to, kind of invest in your home for some long-term value, I believe it's an amazing quality of life. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Please subscribe if this is helping you, and I will answer any questions that you have. I'm Chris Hooper with Chris Hooper Realty, and we will see you next time.